Hello everybody, I'm the best YouTuber, and I watch YouTube videos so that you don't have to. Yeah, I stole that fucking intro. What are you gonna do about it? Cry, baby? Probably nothing. Now let's get on with the review. Hey, welcome to the show. Today we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite YouTube doctors, Dr. Mike. Or as I like to call him, Dookie Mike. I mean, seriously, this guy looks so young. He's so young, he's almost as though, like, if you took a baby face and stretched it over his face. Take a look. Oh my God, that looks horrible. Who the hell made that? Whoever made it, you're fired. Anyway, enough of that. Dr. Mike is so young, it's almost as though Wesley Crusher took a baby pill. But no, seriously though, he is the world's most YouTube authority on YouTube. And when I first started watching his videos, I was just watching things like Real Doctor Reacts to House MD. And as everybody knows, House is one of my favorite shows. And it's the reason why I first discovered Dr. Mike. And then he started talking things about the virus and about the poke and all that good stuff. Stuff that we're not even allowed to mention on YouTube. But oh no, don't let that raise any red flags, Dr. Mike. What the fuck? Anyway, let's take a quick look at his channel. Here we go. As you can see, Dr. Mike does a variety of different videos. In fact, I'm going to go and scroll down here and you can see just how many videos this guy has. Scrolling, 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 still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling. Holy hell! This guy's got a lot of videos. How the hell does he even get doctor work done? Does he even do doctor work? I bet he's not a real doctor, but he plays one on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, he's a real doctor. Why else would YouTube let him get by talking on topics of the poke and COVID and all this other stuff that he's got to talk about? In fact, he does a really interesting video on I just watched it not too long ago. Oh wait, no, that was on someone else's channel. But here you can see he talked about Joe Rogan and some of the things he used. But as I said before, today we're not going to be talking about, you know, all of that doctor stuff. Oh no, we're going to be talking about movies and TV shows that Dr. Mike reviews. So, with all that being said, let's get down to business. Oops. One of the first videos I ever stumbled across while trucking out Dr. Mike was Real Doctor Reacts to House MD Medical Drama Review. Here we go.
Do I get bonus points if I act like I care? Let's get started.
So first of all, okay, there's the intro, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we know all this.
This reminds me of where I grew up.
This must be before he started doing his thing that he likes to do, which, you know, to me, it's kind of pretentious and very annoying. And besides, I think he might be infringing on somebody else's dang it, I can't talk here. Fuck it. Let's get to the review.
In Brooklyn. Or is this a jail?
Why are you late? You're not gonna like the answer. I already know the answer. I missed the bus.
This is a jail. Did he watch any of this before he actually reviewed it? Let's get to the medical stuff, where he talks about how Dr. House is unethical and blah, blah, blah. All right, let's do it.
Is she a doctor? No, but everybody lies.
Dr. House doesn't like dealing with patients.
Isn't treating patients why we became doctors? No, treating illnesses is why we became doctors. Treating patients is what makes most doctors miserable. So you're trying to eliminate the humanity from the practice of medicine. If we don't talk to them, they can't lie to us. Excuse me, Dr. House. You can have a good conversation with patients. You don't need to believe every word they say. You can be honest. You can say you don't know, but give a plan of what you're doing about not knowing. So basically how you're getting to the answer. Was she at medical school?
You see, I disagree with him on that. I think that you should lie to your patients, do the opposite of everything they ask you to do everything that is illegal and on borderline, probably unethical. Oh, wait, I said that backwards. Huh, who knows? But anyway, that's how you get results, Dr. Mike. That's how you get results. Let's go on.
You hear hoofies should take horses, not zebras. Very common phrase. First year medical school. Lab in Trenton could have screwed up the blood test. I assume it's a corollary. People lie that people screw up. Redraw the blood tests and get her scheduled for that contrast MRI ASAP. Let's find out what kind of zebra we're treating here. So a contrast MRI.
Okay, obviously, Dr. Mike knows his stuff, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't even play one on YouTube like some of these other guys. Like this guy who's an ER doctor. Look at that goofy looking motherfucker. Well, maybe he's not so goofy looking, but listen to the way he talks. It's just funny. But have you seen his wife? He's got a hot wife. Not Dr. Mike, but the ER doctor. Just go check him out.
In this case, tells you to get something done, you're getting it done, but also because we have a love for the job. We want to treat patients. I don't know why he's being the sarcastic guy, but I will say it's really funny. I'm angry.
Stop it right there, because I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright claim or what, even though I'm doing a review of a guy doing a review. So when he did his review, I don't know if he got a copyright claim for showing the review that he was doing when he was doing his review. So if I'm doing my review of his review and me doing my review of his review, then I don't want to get a copyright claim for his review. So let me fast forward this just a little bit.
Choking?
No, her throat's closing up, dude.
Is she having an anaphylactic attack to the contrast?
I think he knows what he's talking about here. That's exactly what happened. Okay, so blah, 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 Dr. Mike, blah, blah, blah.
Full autonomy, basically that a patient has the right to refuse treatment at any point as long as they're competent. And by competent, I means that they're able to understand the consequences of their actions. So if they say they want to go home and you tell them you can possibly die if you go home, they can say that back to you and understand what that means. They're free to go home for being an idiot.
Yeah, but you can browbeat them out of, not going home or make them feel like an idiot like House does. Dr. Mike, you got to do whatever you got to do to get the answer. And if that means doing something that is unprofessional, illegal, or immoral, then you got to do it, man. Be a real doctor and man up, motherfucker. A copyright claim for that song. So anyway, that's just one of the many Dr. Mike videos that I watched. And I got to be honest with you, I really like this video. But there is some things he says that comes off kind of smarky or like, oh, look at me, I'm Dr. Mike, I know everything, blah, blah, blah. There has been a little bit of controversy surrounding this guy, and we will get to that in a minute. But first, here's another video clip. When it comes to medical facts and stuff like that, especially medical dramas, when he's doing the reviews of medical dramas, I really can't say much about it because, as I said, I'm not a doctor, and nor do I play one on YouTube. But this guy does. So this time, I'm going to play a clip where he actually talks to a real grandmother about home health remedies. That's right. You know, those things where you pick some weeds and you crush them up and you rub them on your chest to help you from the common cold, or an apple a day keeps the doctor away, things like that. Let's take a look at this nugget of a video. It ought to be good. Let's check it out.
I got the coolest grandma in the game.
Hey, I'm Judy, the best grandma in the game.
Okay, we're going to fast forward this a little bit to where he gets to some of the facts and stuff. Here we go. Swallow gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years. Now, I did hear this one to be false, but let's hear Dr. Mike's smarky comments on the situation.
7 years.
Imagine you swallow a piece of gum and it stays there for 7 years. What happens if you swallow 5 pieces of gum? I actually covered this on a responding to comments video. I must know, where did this urban legend start from? No, you cannot digest the gum. So it will go right through you and come out the other side. And why?
Here's the thing, though, Dr. Mike. What if cat hair gets mixed in it, or a piece of string, or other foreign objects go down there as well? If you have gum stuck in your gut, these things can attach to it. It's called a bezoar. See, even I, a guy who's not a doctor but likes to play one on YouTube occasionally, has figured out such a thing. So why can't you figure this out, Dr. Mike? If that is your real name, Dr. Dookie. Yeah, I know. The name is Doogie. Wait, is it Dookie? My producer's telling me it is, in fact, Dookie. Let's go on.
7 years is the gum.
Raw meat. Now, I've heard that, but I'm not sure about it.
I wouldn't recommend putting raw meat so you can get bacteria exposure onto your skin.
Okay.
Oh.
No, you gotta bruise.
Here's the thing. It's not actual raw meat. It's just that back in the day, when they used to store meat like in cold places like meat lockers and freezers and stuff like that, and then a guy would get into a fight, back in those days, medical stuff was a little screwy McLuey. So instead of having cold compress or whatever, the boxers had what was ever available to them. And most is the case, they would, usually have a little thing of raw meat in their freezer because boxers had to eat a lot of meat for protein. And so you take the frozen meat, which is usually in a package. You don't just take a straight flank of raw meat and stick it on your eye. I mean, for God's sakes, even I know that, Dr. Mike. It's still in the package. Anyway, back to Dr. Mike.
Doctor away, maybe.
She said maybe. Unless you throw it at me, like that meme. Unless you didn't pay your copay, then they'll still chase you. Be careful with these doctors out here.
Yeah.
No, apple is great. It has fiber, it has vitamins, nutrients, phytonutrients, good stuff. But it will not stop you from ever getting sick. I mean, I think that goes without saying.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you have an apple a day and it's got all those good things in there, won't those good things help support a healthy immune system? Therefore, if your immune system is stronger, it keeps you from getting sick. So the less sick you are, the less you will have to actually go to a doctor. So in contrast, when you really think of it, an apple a day really kind of does keep the doctor away. Fact check.
Yummy.
Can ease this upset stomach because I have a lot of upset stomachs and a lot of 7-Ups.
I cannot even begin to come up or fathom a reason why 7-Up would help a stomach ache. First of all, 7-Up contains caffeine, which can irritate your stomach
doesn't.
lining, cause more acid secretion.
No, it doesn't. Wait. 7-Up is caffeine free, you fucking moron. All right, I've been refraining from calling this guy a moron because obviously he's a brilliant doctor, and I do like him. But 7-Up is caffeine free. 7-Up, Sprite, any of those clear sodas are caffeine free. Do you not even read the ingredients on these sodas? What a fucking idiot. Second of all, some stuff that may work for other people may not work for some people. And if you drink Diet 7-Up, it doesn't have sugar in it, Dr. Mike. And that's what I drink, Diet 7-Up. Well, actually, I don't drink 7-Up. But when you have a bellyache, the bubbles from the soda go down into your belly and help whatever trap gas is in there come up from your belly and out through your mouth. You belch. And when you belch, you feel better. Therefore, making your upset stomach feel better. Where the hell does he even get this stuff?
More stomachache. It also has a ton of sugar in it,
Nope.
which is pro-inflammatory. Like, if you like the bubbles, just drink club soda without all the caffeine and added sugar.
There is no caffeine, and if you're drinking Diet 7-Up, there is no sugar. How many times have I got to say that? So that's the one that really kind of set me off in a way. And also, ginger ale, which does have real ginger in it, ginger has been proven to cure upset stomachs. So there's a fact check that I'd like to lay down on Dr. Mike. Something that, yes, he may be a medical expert, but I don't think he's a medical expert in all things. And I don't think he realizes what he's saying half the time when he's saying some of the things that he's saying. For an example, let's get into the controversy real quick. So at the very beginning of the virus, which I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, Dr. Mike talked about social distancing, wearing the mask, and so forth and so on to help keep us safe. But then, about a week or so, or a few weeks after he said such a thing, and he was making videos left and right about this by this time, there were some snap photos of him on vacation with a bunch of broads. Oh, I'm sorry. Women or whatever at a party on the boat, women in bikinis, party down. I guess it was spring break. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at me. I'm partying for spring break. Yeah, that's real professional, Dr. Mike. Anyway, here's a picture of that. So here's another one of Dr. Mike's review videos where he reviews the TV show MASH. Let's see what he has to say about this TV show. By the way, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So I know quite a bit of what's going on here. And this guy is just watching it for the first time.
Film.
I don't want a Kelly clamp, Lieutenant.
So here you can see he's talking about when.
Roger, B Cubs.
Oh my God, this show is like, when was this show filmed?
So he's talking about when the show was filmed. Well, during that time when the show was filmed, sure, regulations were a little loose, even by 72 to 83 standards. However, the show that was being filmed was based off of a medical army surgical hospital. A mobile army surgical hospital during the Korean War, which was back in the 1950s. So we're talking about the 1950s here, not 1972. It was filmed in 72 based on a movie that was filmed, I think, a couple of years prior to that, which was based on the book MASH, which I won't go into here, but I am going to critique this guy as he goes along, because that is what I'm doing. I'm reviewing the Dr. Mike channel. So with all that being said, let's continue.
Well, it's very erratic. What's wrong with it? Regular heartbeat. Bicart solution. He was just looking at me. It's nice. Out of the way, Colonel. Keep quiet for once, will you? Just shut up. Make it. No pulse. Get out of the way.
Chest compression. No. Why why are they doing that dump technique? It's not what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to do chest compressions. And I was going to say, I'm excited that they put the board behind him because that board actually makes the chest compressions more efficacious than a soft bed.
Anything I can do, sirs?
Yeah, keep him out of here.
Those are the worst chest compressions I've ever seen in my life, over than even what I saw in the D'Amelio TikTok.
Okay, now, see right here, he talks about these are the worst chest compressions he's ever seen in his life. But what he has to remember is this is a TV show that was based on a mobile surgical hospital during the Korean War. And back during the Korean War, these mobile army surgical hospitals were the conditions weren't quite ideal, and some of the medical stuff might have not been quite there like it is today, or even like it was about 30 years later or 40 years later for that matter. So some of their techniques may have been slightly different. They weren't up on by today's standards. So maybe the chest compressions that he's doing there, he was probably directed by an actual medical physician at that time who was a medical physician during the Korean War at that time. But then again, Alan Aldo just might be a pussy motherfucker that can't do chest compressions worth a shit. Let's move on.
I think it goes without saying that no one just can sleep through a blood transfusion. Based on the principle of patient autonomy,
they can't sleep through a blood transfusion if they've been drugged, which I think that is what they did to him in this episode. And not only that, but they were doing a lot of drinking on the job, so to speak. Well, not on the job, but in between getting these patients into the medical hospital. Now, here's the thing. They did what they had to do what they needed to do to get the job done back in those days. And like I said, regulations were kind of iffy back in those days, especially during the war when supplies were short and the men came too far and in between. The hell did I just say? Oh, well, back to the show. Man, I'm really getting confused, aren't I?
You should not transfuse and steal blood as if it's gas from an abandoned automobile. This is medical assault.
We think you might have hepatitis, Frank. What are you talking about? We took a pint of blood out of you last night.
Just think about how many things are wrong with this. They stuck a needle inside of him.
Yeah.
They drained him of blood.
Yeah.
They also tested him for medical diseases against his will. And now we're saying it openly in front of other people. What is happening here? Where are the rules? Where are the regulations?
Actually, I think what do they call that? The HIPAA privacy laws were not in play back in the 50s. And during a war, there are special rules in play in which HIPAA, which was not even a thing back then, certainly not during the Korean War, it wouldn't applied here. So the privacy rule, again, was not in play.
Father.
His tongue is swollen. It's blocking the passage.
What if he's bleeding internally? I would need to figure out other things. Remember, when you do...
Those guys are not trained doctors. The one guy is Francis McKay. There is their clergyman, the army clergyman, and then the other guy, radar captain. No, not captain. What the hell's the matter with me? Corporal Radar O'Reilly. There is the company clerk. He has nothing to do with any of the medical stuff whatsoever. So these are not trained physicians. Let's move on.
Airway breathing circulation. You want to make sure the air...
And the most important thing that you got to do is get the guy breathing before you could test any of his blood for internal bleedings or anything like that. And they're out in the middle of the field. What are they supposed to do, doctor? Travel with a traveling x-ray machine? a mobile x-ray machine. Those things weren't even available back then, you idiot. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on.
Airways clear, that there's no objects in there. You want to make sure the patient can breathe, meaning that they could stimulate.
Yeah.
Also, if there's no pulse, you should start chest compression.
Tracheotomy. Father, radar, listen carefully. You only have a couple of minutes. One of you is going to have to cut a small hole in the man's throat to let air in.
This is never really going to happen because forget the part that he's asking them to cut into a man's throat without any knowledge of the anatomy of the throat. He didn't ask so many other important questions. What if this person has such a bad wound that they have a pneumothorax, a collapsed lung?
Again, you really can't think about that stuff when you're out in the war zone. You got to act fast. You got to do things quickly. You got to, you can't really take tests, do blood work, take x-rays. You just want to get the person breathing again. So I think that's the only one of their main concern. And once they got him breathing again, they were going to transport him to the MASH unit.
What if this person has been shot in the heart and is bleeding out? You're going to...
Well, he's not shot in the heart, I guarantee you.
They gave us in kindergarten.
Could use the top of a fountain pen just now. And make an incision.
Do it vertically is because there are small. And as a result, the patient...
I think it's got a lacerated aorta.
If you have a lacerated aorta in a battlefield, I can't imagine that you have any chance of survival.
Yeah, this is just schematics here. Let's fast.
Take a graph from him.
Right.
I don't know what the rules with that are. I mean, I know.
During the war, when you sign up for the military, you're basically you sign up. You're signing away your life to the military. You're basically giving up, I won't say all of your rights, but basically, if you get injured or you get killed or something like that, the rules back then may not apply to what the rules are now. But I think basically back then, once you were drafted into the war or you signed up for the military, you basically signed your life away. So anything they wanted to do to you, technically they could do. Although I think maybe later, like after the war, you could get charged for certain things. But right then and there, they had to do what they had to do. And basically, you are a donator. If you're drafted for war and then you die or something like that, you are an organ donator because you belong to the military.
No.
Well, there you have it. A good long review of the Dr. Mike channel. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like Dr. Mike, and I think he's an intelligent and informative doctor. But I think that just like with all doctors, he does make mistakes. And I think when he's talking about certain medical situations or this and that, it depends on the period of time and things that are going on at the time, because medical research changes things. It changes each and every day. I mean, look at eggs, for fuck's sake. 1 minute they're good for 1 minute they're bad for your cholesterol. Next minute they don't raise the bad cholesterol. 1 minute they're good for you. They give you good protein. Next minute they're not a good source of good protein. I mean, come on, man. You're going to make up your minds? I think for the most, anyway, that pretty much does it for my Dr. Mike review. So, what are my final is my final diagnosis on the Dr. Mike channel? Well, watch it. Yeah, that's right. I'm giving it a recommendation. As much bullshit as I think that there is in there, I think that there's also a lot of truth in there. And if anything, the guy is truly entertaining, even though he's on the side of Dr. Fauci. And I have my reservations about that asshole. But anyway, speaking of assholes, come here. Let me tell you something. Come on, come here. Not everybody is an asshole, but everybody has an asshole. And you know what the fuck comes out of them. So until next time, this is the MASH YouTuber saying, huh? What's that? What? What do you mean they canceled my health insurance? Why them stupid fucking numbskulls? I'm gonna go right down there to to the Board of Medical Regions, and I'm gonna... For more videos, subscribe to me if you haven't done that already. I have new videos each and every week, and they get more and more intense as they get along. And give that video a thumbs up. In fact, smash that thumbs up. Wait, no. Forget it. You know what to do. Or at least I hope you do. See you next time. Idiot. Just kidding. You guys are awesome.